I adopted my son when he was born. It was an open adoption, but the birth mom, Beth, was so greatly ashamed of being a teen mom that she didn't follow up on any contract, which was fine because I had no intention of involving her too much. The truth is that Ethan grew up with 2 dads and 3 older brothers. We always try to have him spend time with girls. A couple of years ago, when Ethan was a tween, Beth reached out to see how he was doing. She spent the last years being an overachiever, so she'd feel worthy of having a relationship with Ethan. Ivy League, married a hedge fund dude, yoga, etc. Ethan is incredibly self-aware and intellectual. You cannot BS him, so he and I enjoy a very open relationship. I told him his mom reached out to me and asked about him. I emphasized that she didn't forget him, but she had to go away to work on herself. I asked how he felt about talking with her, and he said he was open to it. They have a good relationship and spend time together. He's met her husband. It's been a good thing to know his bio family. Ethan has to pick an elective class for the new school year. There have been arguments about what that class will be. Anyway, he told Beth about it, and she messed up by getting involved. She said, "What's the big deal about his doing yearbook? He should do what he wants to do. It's his class." I was like, "You messed up." I said, "Girl, you are not his mom. You're more like a sibling. Siblings don't get a say in parenting decisions. You take a back seat. You're a seat filler in the life of Ethan. Just don't forget your place." She didn't say anything and went radio silent. I was the bigger person and reached out. I said, "I've been raising that kid for 11 years, so it was triggering for you to give your 2 parenting cents. You need to understand that. He understands that, so you should too." I guess she's waiting for me to apologize for something she did. I will not. Once you do that, everything goes bad. Am I the idiot for telling my son's birth mom that she's more like a sister? I mean, is she wrong? Your son is a tween. Why can't he do the yearbook if that's what he wants to do? Why should you get to choose his elective class? She's correct. It's his class. You are the idiot. Dude, you need to take a moment and cool off. You sound incredibly controlling. Yeah, wow, slow your roll, OP. My son just finished early middle school and he chose his electives. I've never heard of this so-called veto power. He's a great student, so it wouldn't even occur to me to try to meddle with his choices. If he wants to take an elective that's a bit more chill, he's entitled to it. You take a back seat. You're a seat filler in the life of Ethan. Just don't forget your place. Oh, wow. You sound jealous and worried that Ethan may eventually love his bio mom, will respect her opinion, seek out her advice, and will have a great relationship with her, his future bio siblings, and a stepfather. You mentioned bio mom is Ivy League, married a hedge fund dude, and does yoga. Your underlying tone is a slur on well-educated, successful, affluent people. You didn't mention your socioeconomic status, but specifying some hedge fund dude implies that you're not in that world. Are you concerned that Ethan will make comparisons between the 2 families? He will compare how you reference his bio mom and your lack of respect towards her, and how she references you. You can control a tween's activities, but you can't control his mind. He will not forget. At the rate the OP is going, Ethan will go and live with his mom as soon as he's old enough to do so. Let's be honest, she's not the seat filler. That's you, OP. She didn't say anything wrong. You did. Now, when you're done acting like she owes you something, you may apologize for what you should have done. You may apologize for what you should have done. The common denominator is you. So my fiance, 24 female, and I, 28 male, are supposed to get married in 6 months. However, something happened that's made me reconsider, and it's kind of blown up. I got into an argument with my fiance about a week ago over something pretty trivial, but it ended up getting a bit heated. I tried to keep things calm, but she ended up getting really mad and slapping me in the face. I was kind of shocked for a minute, and then I just told her she needed to leave. She refused at first, but then I raised my voice slightly and said, "You need to leave right now." She got some of her things and then went to stay with her sister. I'm now considering ending things with her after she was physical with me. I honestly couldn't believe she did that. However, I've gotten massive pushback from pretty much everyone around me, telling me that ending our relationship and calling off our wedding over that is an enormous overreaction. She did apologize, but I told her it didn't change anything. My family's telling me I'm crazy to end things over that. My friends are saying I'm massively overreacting. I pointed out that if I had done that to her, she would have almost definitely left me and would be 100% in the right to do so. They're all saying that's completely different because I'm significantly taller than her and physically stronger. While there's no chance she could ever physically overpower me, that's true, but it doesn't change things. I'm being accused of weaponizing therapy language and appropriating the struggles of victims when what's happened to me is in no way comparable to what genuine victims go through. I feel like I'm losing my mind and doubt my reasoning. Am I the idiot? You would be the idiot if you didn't end it. Can you imagine what she would do to possible future children when she gets angry and frustrated? She is not who you thought she was. Also, friends and family don't get a vote on your future happiness. He needs to take this blessing. She showed who she was before marriage. She's only getting worse. He needs to call it off and ignore this horrible family and friends who are okay with him getting abused. OP needs to hear this. No one else is in this relationship but him. It's his decision. Physical pain may be smaller, but the humiliation and hurt are exactly the same as if the roles were reversed. Violence doesn't have a gender. My brother's ex-wife would slap him once in a while. Then it was more often. Then it was her throwing a phone at him. This was before cell phones. The base of the phone that housed the dialer hit him in the head and left a gash that needed stitches. Leave her now. My mom was an absolute narcissist growing up. We had to have gendered interest. No Legos for me. I had to take extracurricular activities she liked. No drama club or band. I was grounded for not being allowed on the cheerleader teams, and she would call our friends fat or poor if they didn't meet her expectations. I was on a diet as a kid and not allowed to eat the same as my brothers. My sister-in-law, Kate's mom, Debbie, was the opposite, allowing her kids to do what they wanted and have the interest just for them. Kate is a lovely, well-adjusted woman. Her mother, whom I've met several times, is kind. We had a graduation party for my youngest brother. Kate made us cupcakes and they were delicious. My mom made a snide remark about wishing I could be as perfect as Kate. I told my mom I knew that feeling because Debbie was such a perfect mom, and I wished she was my mother so I could have turned out perfect like Kate. My mom flipped her crap and started yelling at me, asking how I could say that to her. I pointed out that Kate seemed perfect because she had a good childhood with good parents. I'm sure I would have blossomed into a person like Kate under the same opportunities. My mom kicked me out of the party and got mad at me for upsetting everyone with my disrespectful behavior. I went home and Kate and my brother stopped by later, bringing me some cupcakes and wine. We talked and neither was mad at me. My mom, however, goes to Facebook to air her dirty laundry and shame me. This is not new behavior, so I'm unfazed by that. Several people called me ungrateful and said my mom did the best she could for us. I find it laughable, but family members say that I need to apologize. But she started it by saying Kate is perfect. I told my mom I knew that feeling because Debbie was such a perfect mom and I wish she was my mother, so I could have turned out perfect like Kate. Ha, I love it. I think I've used a similar approach with my narcissist dad whenever he criticizes my behavior. Just following your example, Dad. Guess I wasn't raised right. Huh, etc. Not the idiot, though she'll never see it that way. One day, when my abusive father criticized me, I asked him if he thought my deficiencies were caused by my environment or if they were hereditary. He began to sputter, turned bright red, and left me alone, as he realized either answer reflected poorly on him. OP, you just gave back what you got. Kudos for being able to deliver that immediately. My mom was an absolute narcissist growing up. Your mom is still a narcissist. Why are you still in contact with your mother? Does she make your life better in any way? She's still a raging narcissist and always will be. That's not fixable. I, 48 female, am choosing not to go to my daughter's wedding because she contacted her grandmother on my late husband's side. Let me explain. 25-ish years ago, my father-in-law called me on the phone to say that I had overspent on my wedding, that it was a reflection of me being snotty and stuck up. I was very hurt, and so was my husband. My husband called his dad demanding he apologize, but his dad refused. His mom called to apologize, but my husband and I agreed that it didn't count unless his dad said sorry. In the end, we cut contact with this whole side of the family so that we could start fresh. Every once in a while, my kids would talk about meeting their cousins on my husband's side or ask to hear stories about my husband growing up in Indiana. I would get so upset each time because I remembered how his dad made me feel. Well, now my kids are grown up and my husband has since passed away. My daughter announced to me fairly recently that she had gotten engaged to her longtime boyfriend. I was initially happy for her until I saw the guest list. Almost half of my daughter's side was my husband's family. She had confessed to meeting many of them and keeping in steady contact with her grandma. I told her I would not contribute financially to the wedding and didn't plan to go if his family attended. My new fiance said I was wrong, but my daughter broke a well-established family rule. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. What the heck did Grandma do other than try to apologize and then keep in touch with your daughter like a good person? I get that you were offended by Grandpa, but now you're carrying this to the point of utter melodrama. You're being just as bad to your daughter as your father-in-law was to you. What the heck? There are no such things as family rules that you can extend to your children once they're no longer children and no longer live with you. If you don't want to interact with your late husband's mother, that's your prerogative. Your daughter's a whole other human being, capable of making her own decisions and has every right to contact them. They may not be a part of your family anymore, but they are by choice a part of her family. You are the idiot for punishing your daughter for reaching out to her own grandmother because you're still upset about a comment this woman's husband made to you 25 years ago. My wife, 31, and I, 33 male, have been married for 8 years, and we have a young grammar school-age daughter. My sister, 31, was married to her husband, but because of his infidelity, they're now looking for divorce. My sister was pregnant with her first child, but she didn't want her husband in the delivery room with her. She called me and asked me if I could come for emotional support because she was nervous about childbirth. I, of course, said yes. She lives in a different state and I was going to go there for a week. But when I told my wife about it, she said that I would miss my daughter's birthday and our wedding anniversary. They're both a day apart. I knew I would miss those days, but I didn't think it was a big deal. So I told her we could celebrate the anniversary when I returned, and I didn't need to be physically present for my daughter's birthday. I could just FaceTime her. My wife then asked why my sister couldn't call anyone else for emotional support, and I told her that was a selfish thing to say. I was there for the birth of my sister's baby, and everything went pretty smoothly. When I returned, I was really happy, and I started making plans for the wedding anniversary. But my wife seemed a bit sad about everything. I know it's because I missed the anniversary, but I don't see the big deal when we can just celebrate it on another day. I understand my wife considers it a very important and special day, but it's just a day, and it doesn't mean anything in significance compared to the birth of my sister's baby. Am I the idiot? Missing the birthday and anniversary are, in the grand scheme of things, only a little problematic. The reason you are the idiot is because you decided everything unilaterally, and that was a really crappy thing to do to your wife. You're supposed to be partners. That means you owe your wife a discussion about it before you commit to your sister. You've just demonstrated to your wife that when something's important to you, any consideration for her or your kid goes out the window. I think he's the idiot because he clearly understands that this is a big deal for his wife, but he doesn't care. So why should it matter? It matters because the woman he made vows to is hurt and feels abandoned on a day that was supposed to be about celebrating their union. He made it clear his wife and child came second, He's eventually going to lose his family to his self-centeredness. Not just that, but the way he brushes off his child's birthday, too. Like, I really don't need to be there for that. I can just FaceTime them. Wow, Dad of the Year. Also, he says that the anniversary of the day he married his wife is insignificant. OMG, wow. Now I'm angry. I'm angry for his wife. I guess he'll miss his anniversary every year because he just said his anniversary means nothing compared to his nibbling's birthday. You are the idiot. Wife sounded defeated, like this wasn't the first time. Update. Am I the idiot for missing my daughter's birthday and my wedding anniversary? Wow, that was a barrage of onslaught. I read a lot of the comments and most people thought I was an idiot, which I did not expect. However, it opened my eyes to the possibility that I may have been neglectful to my wife. I want to provide a quick update, but also provide some more background and clarify a couple of things. Of course, my daughter's birthday and our anniversary are very important and special occasions. I just meant that compared to the process of going through childbirth during a stressful time, it seemed insignificant to me. My sister found out only a couple of months ago about her husband's affair. It was horrible. When she called me, she was really worried about how the stress was going to affect labor. She was worried she was going to die because one of her friend's mothers died during childbirth. She was panicking and I had to calm her down. Of course I was going to go, whether for a week or a month or however long. Our parents passed away in an accident when we were really young, and we were taken in by our loving grandparents, who we'll always be grateful for. Both our grandparents have also passed away. Besides, my sister and I have always been tight. Also, my daughter's birthday party was set up, and the invitations had already been sent out to friends and family. Now getting to the update. Yes, I do realize after reading the comments that the way I went about everything was wrong. I shouldn't have called my wife selfish, and I should have put more effort on our anniversary. I only called her and didn't send her any gifts or flowers on our anniversary, and that's my fault. I had a discussion with my wife a couple of hours ago, and I apologized for everything and told her I would make up for it. She actually seemed very happy after the discussion. I think it's because I apologized and took accountability, which admittedly I haven't done recently. I reassured her that our anniversary is the day that I will always cherish the most. I didn't speak about my daughter much in the last post because there wasn't really much to say. She did have a great time at the party. Yes, she missed me, but she's really happy I'm back now. LMAO, this update just confirmed that you're a selfish person in general and only took accountability when you received internet backlash. I apologized and took accountability, which admittedly I haven't done recently. Wow, your wife must be a saint. You're still describing the anniversary and birthday as insignificant. Multiple things can be significant at once, and it's your job as a husband, father, and sibling to balance them all. You don't pick your favorite and say, screw everyone else. Will your sister say, I can't raise this baby alone? Can you abandon your family indefinitely to raise my child with me? Will you drop your family again to go celebrate your nibbling? If you keep acting like this, you won't have a family to abandon.